Many years ago, in the capital city of Ica, lived a young lady named Agosia, whose heart burned for the things of God. She came to the city a couple of years ago in search of greener pastures, and had to stay with her elder brother ever since then. Agosia was raised up in the way of the Lord and spent most of her childhood working in the church. As such, when she moved to the city, she immediately located a Bible-believing church and joined in. It did not take long before she became popular because of her dedication and favor for God. She became a strong member of the choir, and you could always see her leading praise or worship every Sunday. Her elder brother soon helped her to secure a receptionist job in an FM station, and for the moment it seemed everything was going on well in Agosia's life until she started to attract suitors. Agosia was a beauty to behold in and out, and this beauty drew lots of men to her. Her inner beauty also had an advantage because she would naturally attract favor from people. From getting free rides to work, to getting free lunch, to getting cash gifts from both acquaintances and strangers, it was obvious that Agosia was favored. It was on one of such favored days that she met Izu, a young handsome man who came to the FM where she worked to see the manager. Agosia attended to him politely, and just before he left he gave her a little gift for being kind and professional. However, the next day he came by again, but this time around not to see anyone but Agosia. "Good day, madam. How are you today?" Izu asked with a smile. Agosia was surprised to see him but returned the smile. "Good day, sir. I am very fine. Would you like to see the manager?" Izu shook his head. "No, I came to see you today. It's just a casual visit. I couldn't get over my encounter with you yesterday, and I decided to come satisfy my curiosity if you don't mind." Agosia smiled approvingly, and then Izu went on to ask her some things about herself. By the end of their discussion, they already had a silent connection. Izu was a junior pastor in a church, and so their spirits seemed to align in addition to their values too. Izu extended a hand of friendship to Agosia, and she accepted, convinced that it was an innocent gesture. From that day on, Izu would call her for long hours and also show up at her workplace with a surprise lunch. The friendship was a sweet one, with each of them respecting their boundaries and values. While this was going on, Agosia still continued with her service at church, and it was there that she met another young man named Yugan. Every Sunday after service, the moment Agosia stepped foot out of the church building, Yugana would come up to her to compliment her for one thing or the other. Agosia felt it was just a harmless gesture, and so she didn't read much into it until when he started to appear with gifts too. At this time, Agosia began to suspect that he wanted more, but much to her surprise, Yugana never said a word to her. Until months later when Yugana asked to take her out for lunch. That Sunday afternoon, Agosia agreed and went out with him. As they were eating, Yugana paused and looked at her for a brief moment before clearing his throat. "Agosia, I know you might be wondering why I brought you out here. Well, I believe it is time I opened my heart to you. I have known you for a while now, and I don't need anyone to tell me that you are an angel. But what I didn't know was that you would be the angel meant for me." Agosia's eyes narrowed in confusion. "What do you mean?" Yugana then continued. "I have been praying seriously to God for some months now for him to lead me to my life partner, the right woman for me, the bone of my bone and the flesh of my flesh. And each time I get a revelation, I see you standing in white, smiling at me and beckoning to me to come to you. At first I wasn't sure and I didn't want to mix things up, but then for the past few weeks whenever I sleep I am always seeing you singing melodiously, and then when I come to join you in singing, the heavens open beautifully, a sign that this union will be perfect. Agosia, I don't want to delay further. You are the one God has chosen for me. I want you to be my wife." Agosia's eyes widened in shock as she swallowed hard. Brother, thank you for telling me this, but I'll have to pray about it and then give you a reply." As Agosia got back home that evening, she slumped into her bed. She was in deep confusion. Just yesterday, Izu had asked her to marry him and she told him that she would pray about it, and now out of the blues, Yugana is asking for the same thing. This is going to be really hard. Izu is a good man. He's a young pastor with good values and a bright future too. Yugana is also a good man, even though he doesn't have good physical looks, but then the heart is what really matters, right? He has been a serious Christian and dedicated worker in the church since she could remember, and from their little encounters, Yugana seemed to be a gentleman. Oh God, I am confused. What should I do? I don't want to make a life mistake, please. Direct me, lead me well. Let me choose the right person, please, God. Reveal to me, open my eyes that I may see your will for me. Agosia prayed and prayed that day, but then even after praying she knew she still needed guidance in making the right choice. So she decided to tell her pastor and also her elder brother. They were the bigger authorities in her life, and so she trusted their counsel. She took the full names and pictures of Izu and Yugana to their church pastor and explained her confusion to him. The pastor assured her that he would pray over the names and get back to her on what God reveals. Agosia was a bit relieved by the response, and while she was waiting, she informed her elder brother about her two suitors. Eugene, her elder brother, was pleased with the news. Agosia, you are now a big girl to the extent of having two serious suitors. Anyway, it is a good thing, but then it is a very delicate situation. Marriage is a lifetime venture and one that is capable of destroying or building someone. How happy the person who gets it right with marriage, but sadly only few get it right. I understand that the two men are serious church boys, but you must know that there are wolves among sheep. Jesus Christ said it himself, and the difficult thing is that it is even hard to detect the wolf when they are mixed among the sheep. That is why I am not usually moved when someone tells me I met my fiancé in the church or crusade. The devil deploys his agents everywhere, especially to the church. So this is what will happen. While we pray, we also need to use our God-given sense. I want to see the two men first. From there we will know what to do. Agosia nodded and thanked her brother for his support. She informed Izu and Ugana about her brother's intention to see them, and the two men chose different dates to visit. However, before they visited, the church pastor called for Agosia to give her a response. Sister Agosia, you are blessed. I have sought the face of God. The two men are favored before God. However, you must know that even before God there are levels and hierarchy. Izu is a pastor. Good, but we can't vouch for him. He doesn't belong to our church, so we can only say things about him on the surface and remember what the Bible says about charm being deceptive. On the physical, he should seem like the first choice, but it is not so. Brother Ugana now we know and we can vouch for. We have watched him for years and he has been a true soldier of Christ. So Sister Agosia, in this situation Brother Ugana sits higher in the hierarchy. This is what God says. Agosia's heart was pounding nervously at this point in her chest. So Ugana is God's choice for her? Thank you so much, Pastor. I really appreciate your guidance. However, Agosia kept this in her heart and did not tell anyone. The day came when Izu was to visit her elder brother Eugene, and much to Agosia's shock, the two men flowed naturally as if they had known themselves for ages. Eugene threw some questions at Izu, who answered them smoothly, and he didn't take long before they were laughing and talking like buddies. By the time Izu left, Eugene told Agosia that Izu had a good soul. You know I have a very good discerning spirit. This one is a special gift the Holy Spirit gave to me. I can assure you that Izu will make a good husband for you. But then I will not conclude yet until I see the second man. Agosia nodded slowly as the pastor's words came ringing in her head. Charm is deceptive. Could this be true? Is it really possible that her brother had been carried away by Izu's looks and personality? No doubt Izu is a very fine man, but then that is not what matters, right? Anyway, she would wait until Yushin comes before she says anything. A few days later, Yushin came visiting, and when Eugene saw him, he treated him warmly the same way he treated Izu. But then the reaction was not the same. Yushin was a naturally gentle man who did not speak much. As such, it would take a longer time to be able to read through him because it would be unfair to judge him with his looks that were on the opposite side of fine or his scam demeanor. But this was not the situation with Eugene. Eugene's discerning spirit set him apart and made him a very sharp and sensitive Christian. As such, he could already read through Yushin. So when Yushin left, he called Agosia. Agosia, is this the man you said attends your church? My spirit senses something strange in him. He's not who he seems to be, and I am afraid if you end up with him, you might regret it. Agosia was shocked. Brother, why would you say something like that? Is it because he's not as outspoken or good-looking as you had expected? Eugene waved his hands. Come off that, Agosia. You know I am not superficial. Even if I want to be, my spirit won't let me. That man's spirit is not in any way related to the true spirit. I could feel a strange cloud around him, but then how would you know for sure when he's among the brethren? I don't want you to gamble into this, so I will advise you to delete him out of your options. If you don't have any other suitor, then that other pastor guy is a good choice for you. Agosia looked at her brother unbelievably. Her brother was one of the leading members at a Bible-believing church, but definitely he was not a pastor. So how would he know better than her own pastor, who has been a shepherd for long? Brother, I have prayed about this and I also sought my pastor's counsel. From what was revealed to us, Ugana is the one God has kept for me. He's my husband. Eugene stood up immediately in anger. Agosia, anyway, it will take some time for you to understand it, but don't be carried away. Ugana is not what he seems to be. If you insist on marrying him, then you cease to be my sister. I will no longer have anything to do with you. Don't say I didn't warn you. Agosia was terrified. She had never seen her brother behave this way before, but why was he hell-bent on making her go against God's will? God couldn't have lied to her and the pastor. She was really worried and scared, but she comforted herself that it was better to disobey man than to disobey God. She would marry Ugana and prove her brother wrong. Agosia told Ugana about her brother's refusal to support their union, and he too was also worried, but she assured him that she wouldn't back off. Since this is the will of God for us, I will fight for this. I know there would be challenges, but I didn't know it would be from my own brother. I just need you to stand with me, and we'll be all right. We should also tell the pastor so he can guide us well. Ugana nodded his head, and they then went together to see the pastor. After listening to their challenge, the pastor reassured them and prayed for them, pledging to support them at any time. With this confidence, Agosia became more bold and determined. She told Ugana to hurry up with the marriage plans, and when he was ready, she took him to her village to meet her uncles for the traditional rites. Since Eugene, her elder brother, had sworn that he would not support her, she would bypass him then. After the bride price payment, Agassiya returned to the city with Ugana, but she couldn't go back to her brother's house again. She decided to stay with one of their church sisters pending when their union would be blessed in the church. Ugana didn't waste time and made the necessary preparation for the holy matrimony. On that day, the whole church was filled to its brim as everyone wanted to grace the wedding of the beautiful sister Agassiya. They received a lot of gifts, and just before the ceremony ended, Agassiya sighted Izu coming up to her. She was shocked to see him, but before she could say anything, Izu smiled and handed her a wrapped gift. "Agassiya, I can see that you are truly happy. Congratulations to you, and I wish you a blissful marriage. Please accept this gift from me for friendship's sake." Agassiya smiled and accepted it. "Thank you, Izu. I really appreciate this." Throughout the wedding ceremony, Agassiya kept on looking around searching for any sign of her elder brother Eugene, but she didn't see him. He had kept true to his promise of cutting ties with her if she insisted on marrying Ugana. After the wedding, Agassiya moved in with Ugana, who lived not so far from the church, and the first month of the marriage was like heaven on earth. Ugana was a man of few words, but his actions covered up for him in that aspect. He worked as a painter, and whenever he got a contract, he would divide the money into two and give one half to Agassiya. He never returned home without buying something for her, whether big or small, and he provided all her needs before she even asked. Agassiya was pampered as a wife, and she was glad that she didn't reject Ugana. Once in a while, she would wish that her brother would have a rethink and come see how good of a husband Ugana was. Agassiya continued to enjoy her marriage until one day when Ugana returned home with unexpected news. "Agassiya, we are moving out of this house. My business has been slow of late and I can't keep up with the rent again. We'll move to a more affordable place, please." Agassiya was shocked by the news. "Honey, what exactly is the problem? Is there anywhere I can help?" But Ugana waved her off. "The only solution is to move out. Once we move out, everything will be fine. So just start gathering our things together. We'll be moving any time from now." It did not take up to 2 weeks before Ugana brought a truck and moved all their things to Onitsha. They arrived at the house, and Agassiya was even more disappointed to see the new place. The house was a one-room apartment and very small compared to where they were staying before. Days after they settled in, Ugana resumed work. He would leave home in the morning and take several buses back to the place where they had just moved from. Before leaving, he would drop off some money that was just enough for Agassiya to feed with that day. Gradually, the gifts and surprise money stopped, and Agassiya found herself struggling to manage. There was an elderly woman who ran a foodstuff shop, and that was where Agassiya usually patronized. This woman's name was Mamachi, and she soon became like a mother to Agassiya. It didn't take long before Agassiya discovered that she was pregnant, and it was like a dream come true. When she informed Ugana about it, he too was pleased with the news. But then it seemed as though he had been battling with himself to keep up the good husband charade, and at the moment he had gotten to his limits because the way Ugana changed overnight, one would think that he was jazzed. A few weeks after Agassiya found out that she was pregnant, Ugana stopped going to work regularly, and as such he stopped giving her money for feeding. Agassiya couldn't keep silent anymore, and so she asked him about it. "Honey, you haven't been going to work lately. Is everything okay?" Ugana looked at her sharply and muttered under his breath, "Work is bad. I have not been getting contracts like before." Agassiya sighed sadly. "I am so sorry about that. God will open doors for you." She then paused for a moment before speaking again. "Honey, there is no food stuff in the house. I was thinking if you could give me some money to get some things for us to eat." Ugana turned and looked at her ridiculously and then said, "Is there no Gary in the house? Take some and drink." "There is no money. You should learn to manage now." Agassiya was shocked. "I should drink Gary? But I am pregnant. It is not healthy. Besides, there is no sugar or milk to add to it. How do I drink it?" She was still complaining when Ugana left her and went to lay down on the bed unbothered. Agassiya just sat there looking at him in disbelief. She quietly went to take some Gary and added salt into it. After drinking it, she left the house and went to Mamachi's shop. The moment Mamachi saw her, she knew that something was wrong. "Agassiya, what is the matter?" Agassiya tried to hold back, but then she couldn't. She broke down. "I am just tired. Can you imagine that my husband cannot provide food for his pregnant wife? I had a good job before he asked us to leave that city. Now I have no job, no business, and no money. It is only Gary that I have taken today." Mamachi listened patiently, and then she went to get some food for Agassiya. "You are still new to marriage, so you need to follow everything through with wisdom and patience. You need to start up something, just that you're currently pregnant. So for now, just concentrate on having this child. Have you started antenatal?" Agassiya shook her head. Mamachi was shocked. "Please, tomorrow go to the government hospital. They are free. You need to be sure that your baby is in good condition."
When Agassiz returned home, Ugana gave her money. Take this, go and make soup. That soup will be for 1 week, so manage the money well. Agassiz collected the money and was dumbfounded when she counted it. 475 naira. She went back to Mamachi's shop and showed her. As she cooked the watery soup, her heart broke. That evening when she brought out the food, Ugana divided the soup into 2. Then he brought out suya and poured it into his own portion. Agassi's eyes widened. Honey, is this suya? I thought you didn't have money. Agassiz tried to take some, but Ugana slapped off her hands. Don't try this ever again. The next morning, Ugana gave her 250 naira. But honey, I would like to start antenatal. Ugana muttered, I don't have money for that now. Mamachi said, did you not see the signs? These are traces of wickedness. From every indication, Ugana might be more than what you see. Unfortunately, this was just the beginning. Every day, Ugana would show her suffering. Towards the end, she still had not gotten anything for the baby. That morning, she fell to her knees. Honey, please give me money, she suddenly shouted. If you don't give me money, I will go to the church and beg. That same afternoon, he returned with baby essentials. Weeks later, Agassiz gave birth, but when the baby fell sick, she had to call the pastor's wife, who gave her money. The pastor's wife said, we need to see you and your husband. Agassiz knew trouble was coming.